everybody. Happy New Year's. New Year's Day here, out in the shop. Just gonna start. Well, we started already. Had a little bit of a crank issue clearance yesterday. Put us back an hour and a half or 2 hours. Anyhow, so filing some rings. So here we go. This is the top ring. There's the crank, and I'm gonna start filing right now. I'll get my stand out and put some video on, and then we'll go from there. All right. Where's gonna be the best? Are you fucking kidding me, right?
Huh?
Oh, that's fucking...
Oh, yeah, I've got some big tripods from my camera setup. I've had it for years.
Bring the right one. Oh, puppy's outside. There. How's that? Let's try that. Are you fucking kidding me?
Can't see through the table, man.
Oh. Right in the ball sack.
Oh, no worries there. They've been laid off.
Laid off.
I don't think I could get a fucking heart on it if I wanted, so. Thanks to those awesome pills that also make me. Hey. Hey. Get fucking filing, bud.
Alright.
I've got this.
Alright. I'm fucking filing. Look at me go. 12 times 170.
A couple hours worth of that to deal with. All that money, they give you one sticker.
Oh, there's lots of stickers in the boxes. They, yeah. There is. Every box has fucking stickers in it.
Did you wrap these up like that?
I wrapped those up. I took a page out of Johnny's book.
No, fine. I just wanted to make sure they weren't washed or anything.
No,
Yeah.
no, I just
Don't need to
for transportation purposes, I just,
keep everything together.
yeah.
Yeah. Good idea.
Should I make it a little bit looser than this? Should I make it a
Like
little
just a looser's not bad.
Yeah.
You take this. You take those bad in a hurry. That's just about right.
Couple more centimeters?
Yeah, if you want. We can always, cut it deeper and still do it. So
Yeah.
that'll effectively make it a little looser anyways. Okay. Time lapse in this?
There will be.
Yeah.
There will be.
It's gonna take a while, that's for sure.
Yeah.
I would have known you were gonna film, I would have brushed my hair.
Won't be an accident. Won't have to out. Just right here.
What you looking for? Oh, just trying to figure out where to look at my checking springs. Which I don't know where they are. Not that matters, but whatever. I will deburr these rings. You haven't done that yet, right?
No.
I will do that one. Is that camera following me?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Let me see the light. Deburr. Total seal rings, if you can afford them. Buy them. The best. There you go. I just did a commercial for them.
That's right. Same with Icon pistons.
Yeah, those Icon pistons are real nice.
Beautiful, aren't
Yeah, they're part of UEM. They're Keith Black,
they? Yeah.
Silverlight. It's all the same company.
Oh,
And then they do a lot of private stuff for like 440 Source,
Right.
a bunch of different companies out there. They do private label stuff. I would take those over like a Race Tech piston or
right.
some of those other brands that are out there any day of the week. You know, in a perfect world, yeah, you got money to burn, you know, JEs or
Right.
Wise Coast, depending on applications, right? Not everything's available, right? For all,
Yeah.
you know.
Well, and that's,
You know, I wouldn't, you know, I hate fucking mall pistons. I think they're shit, but I don't like the ring packages. Hence the problem with this motor was the ring package, right? So
that's right.
led to all these problems and these changes, but that's okay because now we got a piston that's, you know, going to work better for what we want with the nitrous and this and that.
Yeah.
I won't have a problem throwing up to 300 on those, right? So, right?
Yeah.
They got a decent pin in them and whatnot too. You know, as far as I'm concerned, that's a pin, you know, piston pin combination because it's a 2618 forging,
Yeah.
which is fine for power adder. It's a high growth piston, so it's going to swell up in the bore,
Right.
right? A little bit more than a 4032 would or whatever, right? But yeah, I wouldn't have a problem running a piston like that, upwards of, you know, 1500 horse or whatever.
Yeah.
You know, you might want to look at a pin upgrade, but you know, like the Gen 3 heavy stuff, you're kind of limited what's available when
Right.
it comes to you know, piston stuff, right? Weisco has some, you know, everybody has some, but you know, for certain combinations, you have to kind of pick or choose or go to a custom set, right? So
Yeah, but that's also, as the platform gets more used.
Oh, yeah,
More companies will.
oh yeah, they'll step up the manufacturers and just
Exactly,
keep
right.
adding stuff like, you know, everybody and their dog's got stuff for Gen 3 Hemis nowadays, right?
Yeah.
Scat and Eagle and Callies and Manly and blah 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 when it comes to crankshafts and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Right. With the white gloves there.
Michael Jackson in it.
Oh,
Except I got both on. Two left. So I guess it doesn't really matter at this point, does it?
no, like I said, the block is, you know, 2 to 3, you know, tenths of a thou from one hole to the next, so
Yeah.
not to be concerned with, but that's meaningless in the big picture. It's not like there's a pro stock motor or a comp eliminator or anything like that,
Right.
right? So
Yeah.
basically a very healthy street motor,
Yeah.
you know, with the quick flow heads and and the pistons and all that, and should be, you know, pushing 600 or better maybe, who knows? Not bad for a flat tappet cam, that's for sure. You know, I've had good luck with those Eagle cranks, so
Yeah.
they work well. I've used them in, you know, supercharged applications for
Right.
natural aspect and nitrous, you know, turbo stuff, right? So
Yeah.
Mind you, that was LF shit, but
Well,
not everybody's perfect. Which is just a ripoff of a small block Ford.
yeah.
That's all an LS is, right? So, design wise. But they got their issues. Everybody thinks they're so great, but yeah, head gasket issues because of the bolts, limited amount of bolts unless you get an aftermarket block.
Right. Because they're not surrounded, the whole cylinder's not surrounded by.
Yeah. Like an aftermarket LS block, yeah, they got 6 bolts around the cylinder.
Right.
You know, here's a big block Dodge, they got 5, so,
Yeah.
you know.
Clamping pressure's a lot better, right?
Oh yeah, exactly right, so. I've done like blown, like supercharged, and, you know, 871 blown, you know, big block Dodge stuff and whatnot. And I haven't done a centrifugal supercharger. Lots of NA motors and nitrous motors and whatnot.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Eagle cranks, I like them. They're okay. There's nothing wrong with them.
Yeah.
Scat, you know, I always kind of, scat always makes me kind of cringe a bit. Well, you get a brand new crank and they're not even right. They're 1 thou under, you know, like they don't think you can set your own clearances, bearing clearances, right? So they make it a little on the loose side right off the get-go for you, which isn't the worst thing in the world, but I just don't understand why. Unlike, you know, everybody else,
Yeah.
you know, K1 and whoever, right? You know, like you want to go bonkers and you go Bryant or, you know, Moldex or, you know,
Yeah.
but, you know, who the fuck wants to spend $5 or $8 grand on a bloody crankshaft? I don't.
Well,
You know, even my Callie's cranking my Gen 3 Hemis.
yeah.
You know, not cheap. Nice though. John Callie's is a fucking genius. That's the guy that owns Callie's and
Right.
then Synergy and all that. They're doing the aftermarket blocks now for the Gen 3 Hemis and the big block Dodges and whatnot.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, he's a fucking genius, that guy. He literally started out from the bottom and worked his way up with Callie's. He's a real, like, a fucking remarkable guy. Super smart. Looking at the rockers, everything looks good, you know,
Yeah.
everything's lining up and whatnot, so it'll be interesting, we'll see.
Yeah. But you see how much taller they are than like even the stealth heads there, right?
Yeah.
They're way taller.
Yeah, to a certain extent, right? I think the valve is going to be longer though. Maybe we got bigger, we left it over. They're nice looking at those strict flow heads, though.
They are.
They look very well done, right? So,
Yeah, that's what Johnny, like when I took him to Johnny's, he was like, ooh, these are nice, very nice.
yeah. Well, like I said, we used them on Doug's motor there the last time around.
Right.
Why not? There we go, that's what I want. And 15-degree two valve angle. You look at all that Wazoo fancy big block Chevy stuff like the big 9 heads and all that.
Yeah.
That's what they've done with a big block Chevy head. They've basically made them into like a wedge head.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, where they've stood the valve up straight, you don't have all these fucking crazy valve angles and, you know,
Yeah.
worst valve train going is a big block Chevy, right?
Yeah.
As far as I'm concerned, I fucking hate them. I've done a bunch, but, you know, use your stuff that runs in the 8s or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Probably the fastest one I've ever done runs like a 830 or something like that, I think it is, whatever. But yeah, I just hate their valve train, like, you know, with a stud mounted rocker, right?
Yeah.
It's hard to have stability with them and, you know, that's why they have guide plates and whatnot to control the valve train so everything doesn't go fucking spaghetti all over the place, right?
Yeah.
Not everybody can afford, you know, mega dollar shaft rocker systems, which are definitely the way to go
Yeah.
when it comes to them, for stability wise and stuff like that, but not everybody can afford that kind of stuff.
Well, it just takes up that extra moving part in that system itself, right?
Mm-hmm.
On the shaft rocker. Especially if it's got pedestals.
Yeah. Man, that's quite the jump looking at their valve spring specs on these things.
Yeah.
You know, go from 138 on the seat, you know, flat tappet type of stuff to 240, which isn't bad depending on the size of your roller, right? Like,
Yeah.
you know, typically you want to get a solid roller around 240 to 280 depending on the lift rate. So,
Yeah.
you know, that's for your regular stuff like the B1 motor. You know, you know, it had, you know, over it was 954 lift in that thing originally, right? So it had some serious springs on that bastard.
Right. Yeah.
Which is fine and dandy, but that just beats the shit out of everything, right? So, especially a titanium valve, right? So,
Yeah.
over time, you'll want to cup the valve or you know, or pull the valve and stretch it, right? So,
Yeah.
you know, it's such a big valve. It's nice to have that light weight for, you know, because we read that thing, you know, a big block Dodge to 9,000 RPM naturally aspirated. Yeah, yeah. So you gotta have the right stuff there. That's, you know, manly spring. Be careful. You kind of pull it up. When you're squeezing it, you can see the ring end coming up like that.
Oh, yeah.
Yep, keep it nice and flat. Come on, apprentice.
Pretty square stuff.
Yeah. Not to worry, not the end of the world. You know, the second rings will take them a little bit bigger. We're going to go extra 2 thou over on those.
Right.
The incorrectly named you know, second compression ring, which is actually not a compression ring at all, it's another scraper. It's amazing that, you know, engines can live with you know, there's so little oil on the cylinders.
Yeah.
So the oil ring scraping the oil off, and then the second ring scraping the oil off. Really, the majority of the sealing is done by the first ring, right? So
Yeah.
compression wise, keeping compression gases where they should be. Now again, this is a molly face ring, you have to watch. Obviously, you don't want to pull across it, you want to push in,
Right.
right? Because you don't want to pull that molly off the ring face, right?
Yeah, it just creates.
And for you guys using nitrous, molly rings are okay to a certain extent, depending on how much you're hitting with. 100, 150 shot, I wouldn't worry about it. But beyond that, we're using a steel ring because the nitrous will actually knock the molly facing off the ring here. You know, it'll take it right off the ring. So. Some people may disagree with that, but you know, ask Lake Speed, ask Total Seal. Not that there's not other rings out there that aren't good. There's plenty of good rings. I've used the Speed Pro or Speed Pro rings for lots of NA stuff and street motors and whatnot without any issues ever, and whatnot. And the JE rings are very good. I don't know who makes them for them. Who knows for sure? I don't think they make them themselves, as far as I'm aware. I haven't talked to the boys down there in a while. Usually when you talk to them guys on the phone, I gotta do a custom order piston for a special, for certain combinations or stuff. Like Darren's B1 motor, those are a custom set of JE pistons for that thing, because the fucking valves are gigantic. Old Alderman Pro Stock motor is what he's got, right? Kind of deal. Would you end up in the Charger? I'm guessing.
No, it's going to be in the saddle, the Roadrunner.
The Roadrunner.
Yeah, that's what the car that I took to.
To Rob to get the chassis done?
Yeah.
Look, I thought that was a Charger.
No.
Oh.
Satellite. Base model.
Yeah.
Yeah, once you get going on that thing soon, dude.
Oh, fuck, let's just get this dealt with. Still got a lot of work to do with this thing. Still gotta figure out the rear suspension. We're making some changes with that. Gonna make the car work a little bit better.
Oh God, yes.
Yeah, it's, you know, the factory super stock springs type of setup with the Caltrax. They work well, don't get me wrong. It's got QA1 shocks in there and whatnot, but we're gonna upgrade to a double adjustable shock in there. We're putting a monoleaf in the car, and we're also gonna put sliders in it and make everything happy. It's gonna work way better. It's gonna leave harder. The car does have a trans brake in it, so we'll be trans braking that bitch and hitting it with some juice out of the hole. So hopefully we'll get the wheels up a couple of feet in the air and knock those 60 foots down and see if we can get Darren kicked off some tracks, because his cage isn't good enough. It's funny, you can have a new Challenger or Camaro or a Mustang go out and run fucking, 8-second quarter miles with no cage in it, but
That's right.
Car like, well, the way the cars are structured is completely different than the old school cars. Are much safer, right? So, but still, you can go, bonkers with that, and go stupid fast, right? So,
Before you got to put anything in.
before you have to do anything, right? So, yeah. So, I think this is
That's number
big
one.
picture. This is going to work out well. We're getting away from the thin metric rings and gone to a standard old school ring, the 1/16 3/16 ring. It's going to help dissipate the heat, because heat's a killer, especially on a drag and drive car. They run toasty. Some of them do, especially if you don't turn on the fan when you're supposed to. Yeah,
This guy.
once, twice, 3 times. Third time's a charm.
Yeah.
And the rings lose their tension fairly quickly because there's nowhere for that heat to go. So that's what we're trying to do. Is we're gonna, upgrade a little bit.
So how come this ring is that color and that ring is
Material.
just the materials?
Yep, material. Exactly
enough.
right. That's
So is this softer than that?
it's-
Because that's taking so much compression, or?
yeah. Well, this is a steel that's a ductile iron ring, so
Right.
it's not faced. Right?
Okay.
So it's got no molly on it or anything else like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And then we're gonna open this up a little
Yep.
more.
Add 2.
Add 2.
Yep. Add 2 more. Myself personally, when I put together engines for people, I'll ask them, "Oh, you're gonna put nitrous on this?" Most of the times they say no. I gap the rings like they're putting nitrous on. Just a couple extra thou. It's not going to be any difference in the big picture, really, for most people. It's not going to make any difference whatsoever. It's just a safety feature that I kind of build into them just because.
Better than getting an engine sent back.
Yeah, exactly. Last thing you want to do is butt up those rings, because when that happens, ask the late model guys about that. They'll pop the crown right off the piston. You'll bust the ringland, and chunks of piston will get in the cylinder and bang around and get spit out the tailpipe eventually. Right? Seen that lots of times. You Gen 3 Hemi guys, that's definitely a thing. when I worked at Mopac, we put a lot of blowers on the late model Hemis, and it was always the same, right? Over time, these guys just keep wanting to wick them up, and then they lift the ring land and hurt the motor, and then it'd be like, okay, now you got to pull it out, and why it's out? Well, let's put a drop in, forged piston rod combination. All of the powder metal rods are pretty durable, and they are a full floating rod from the factory on most applications. Look at the power guys are making with stock rods on the new LTs, and even the LSs, and the Coyote motors are mental, the power those things can make. So yeah. But yeah, I see it a lot, with the supercharged cars, a lot of pro charge stuff we did, we always, made it mandatory. You got to put a catch can on it because you got to control the oil, especially on a Gen 3 Hemi, because the PCV or whatever per se goes right on that number 3 cylinder, and that's usually the one that hurts the piston because you're getting detonation because it's pulling a little oil in there. So catch can can be your friend on that kind of stuff, but not necessarily on everything. You don't need it. I'm not telling anybody to go run out and put a catch can on every single thing, that's for sure. Like my buddy Amy there with that little truck of his that was in, it's been in magazines, it's won multiple awards all up and down the coast, and Oakland Roadster Show and whatnot. I built him a nice Ford 68 big block Chevy, and it's hydraulic roller, real nice little motor, street motor. Probably makes about 550 or something like that. It's injected. It's a throttle body style injection, and it's a nice little setup. And he was having oil control issues with that thing. I'm like, what the fuck? This thing shouldn't have these kind of problems. Well, it turned out that he had some fancy ass billet specialty valve covers, and a billet specialties like breather PCV assembly. Yeah. And I'm like, what the fuck's going on, right? Can't figure it out. I said, and he's down there and I'm up here. I was like, hey, take that fucking thing out, take it apart. The PCV valve was bottoming out on the fucking thing, so it wasn't even working. Eh? Oh yeah, no wonder the thing's puking oil out of it, right? Like, and this thing's, a show vehicle, so any drip of oil that comes out of it, he's all, trying to fucking fit. So yeah, somebody else told me, you need a catch can, and he went out and spent, I don't know how much money, getting a catch can and getting lines and all this and that. Yeah, that got thrown in a box on the shelf because once we fixed the PCB issue, a problem went away, right? Right? Yeah. There you go. So yeah, he was a little bit, this is me diagnosing stuff over the phone, which I do a bit of, that's for sure.
Well, if you're not right there, you don't know, right?
No, exactly. And then he had overheating issues too, and with it. And then I'm like, well, what the hell's going on? And then I, gave him some testing stuff to do, and he did it, and it turned out it had a bad fan relay, so the fan would come on sometimes and not come on sometimes because it had a real nice, I think it was a Be Cool rad in it, and everything was well done. Right? It was a very nice truck, done by RS. Rick there out of Aldergrove.
Right, yeah.
That guy is fucking awesome, man. He does beautiful fabrication stuff. He was doing some work for Janet Chaotic Customs and all that. He's doing a lot of their C10 box shortenings and stuff like that for them and whatnot. But he did all the fabric on Amy's truck. It was painted by JF.
And
yeah.
Or non-payment Osius.
Yeah, Osius, yeah. Yeah, so but yeah, it was kind of neat, that thing made it in the magazine. See for underneath there, in the spouse. So made it in the magazine, won all these awards, got my name in the magazine and all that.
Nice.
Oh yeah,
nice.
Yeah, I'm famous now.
Infamous.
Gotta raise my prices.
One.
Yeah, they'll come around a lot faster than that ring.
Okay.
Yeah, they
Yeah, because they're.
Yeah. Ductile irons is super good and hard and all that. basically it's a hardened version of cast iron to a certain extent.
Right.
Yeah. Like some companies use ductile iron crankshafts from the factory.
Oh yeah.
Right, they're very tough, you know, like, you know, you can make pretty good power before you know, for a cast crankshaft type of deal, right? So,
Yeah. Do do do. Here we go, boys. Test 1, test 2, test 3, test 4. A little at a time. Just a little at a time. So this is Allen rings. Almost there. All right, so we'll shut you down for a few minutes. We'll get the rest of these rings filed, and then we'll put you back on for doing piston install.
all right, here we go. A little tech tip, let's just say. When you're dealing with aftermarket rods, or stock rods for that matter, there is a right way and a wrong way to put them in. As you can see here on the rod, you see this large bevel here? Not so much on this side. That's where the rods are going to meet. The larger bevel, especially on aftermarket rod or a stroker kit, is always going to go towards the fillet of the crank because they have a radius in the crank, whereas a lot of factory ones are undercut. So yeah, you want to make sure you orientate them right, because if you don't, you go to turn over the motor and the rods are going to up against each other, and that's not going to be good for the situation. If you try to run it like that, it's definitely not going to be good. It's going to tear itself apart and shit a rod out, and that'll ruin your day and your wallet. So yeah, so just always remember that. Put this bastard over. Where did I put my arrow? Napier ring. So
Oh, yeah?
got a groove on the outside.
Yeah.
That's a nice ring for oil control.
All right, we're just putting some rings on the pistons, and we'll just get the fuck over here, bud.
Oh,
There we go. Come on. Come on. There.
we'll figure it out.
Sorry, Chris.
Get the fuck out of the way, apprentice. Hoof. So see how the Napier has like a hook in it?
Okay, yeah.
That's for scraping, right? So,
Right.
And that was always face down.
Face
right?
down, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Nice shot of her crotch area.
Oh, yeah.
Hi.
Nothing to see here.
Over here. Where?
That's what you do in your old, you gotta use your fucking magnifying glass to see everything.
Right.
They got that bevel is so fine in that ring. You know, you can
Right.
actually see it there, but yeah, just to verify. Always verify. Right, so
Yeah. Excuse me.
Nope, got that back. Nope, that's right. Second guessing myself for no good reason.
Because that's what we do.
Hook side, just feel with your finger.
Oh yeah.
Just roll it across the
Oh, yeah,
ring, and
okay.
catch that.
Yeah.
And then you know you got the Napier groove there. And then you want that facing down. You know, pliers, expand it, and then I always like to hook it in that side first.
Right.
And that way the ring will follow itself.
Into place. So.
Yeah.
You want your magnifying glass? You good?
Yep.
Alright.
That makes me second guess myself, partner. Yes. You get older, you know, can't control your bladder, you can't see anything.
All the good stuff.
Oh yeah. Good thing I don't drink coffee. So we got that's there. That guy's gonna go over there. That guy's gonna come around here. We're good to go.
Alright.
Next contestant. Are you gonna do some of these or are you just gonna fucking stand there?
I'll do some.
I'm kidding. I'll do this one and you can do the rest.
Okay.
Learn by doing, right?
Well, that's the way a lot of people do it. I'm one of them.
Yeah. And you have nobody to blame but yourself.
That's right.
This side should be up. Yes. Yeah, right into place.
Yeah.
That's professional there for you. Orientate the rings correctly, and as the man said, you're up.
Alright.
So, that one's done, that one. Nope. Have I done 3 of them?
I thought you did 3.
Yeah, no, it's got rings on. Fucking hell.
You need magnifying glasses for
Yeah,
that. too,
exactly.
right? Okay.
Vision.
I'm gonna put some rings on. And then that goes down.
Yep, your face is down. So, get it in the hooks there.
Just like that.
And you come, whoops. So, when you're holding the pliers,
Yeah.
kind of want to hold them like that, right?
Yeah.
I think you had them kind of inverted there somewhat.
Right.
So yeah, there's our napier, so
Yeah.
that's going to go down, right? And go like that, hook the ring in, put a little tension on it.
Yeah.
Oh, apparently too much, or not enough. Ring pliers wear out over time. I don't know how many engines these ones have been through, so
Right.
you expand them, take
Yeah.
the piston, like so. Like I said, get past the accumulator groove, if you can do it. I'm missing it on the other side. Good thing that's the one that's on camera, the one we're struggling with the most.
Of course.
So there you go.
Okay. Alright, so keep the bevel side up.
Yeah, bevel side goes up. On that, and make your ring faces down. And then,
So
yes.
that, yeah, okay, so that goes like that.
Yeah. Yeah, you can actually see it on. You'll see that one side of the ring is
Square,
You
yeah.
can't see it.
Yeah.
And that side you can see it's got a little bit of a bevel. It's not much to it, but you can see it. All right. There's a ring compressor. Handily enough, it's the same board to enter as the ones we did yesterday. Right, for the
Yeah.
6-back motor. And give it a good wipe, make sure it's nice and clean. Free of fucking debris, shit. The last thing you want to do is get stuck between the rings and the piston.
Alright.
Debris in there, a little piece of grit or whatever can
Yeah.
turn things shitty in a hurry. Yeah, so you
How's
see
that
the
look?
oil ring gaps there. So
Yeah.
you want to put that over there and then that over there. Basically, you want the top 2 rings to be 180 apart,
Right.
and then you'll and
Oil
then I
ring.
always put the gap on the oil rings opposed to the second ring.
Okay.
Personally, like I said, some people orientate rings different ways and whatnot. But
Yeah.
that's the way I've always done them, and I've been successful. I haven't lost an engine ever. So
That's all that matters at the end of the day,
knock
right?
on wood.
Knock on wood.
So haven't lost one yet.
I'm trying real hard here.
Yeah.
Put that in there. Okay. And I want the bevel side up. I could make this look more fucking awkward. Okay. I'm fucking losing it.
Easy now. Don't break it. Okay. No. Never pull a ring like that.
Okay.
You always want to try. Just kind of help hold the ring and then get the plier back in there. Because if you try to
Pull it off.
bend the ring like that,
Yeah.
it will break. Right?
Yeah.
And that's the last thing we need because, like I said, we'll be ordering a single ring pack. It'll be $100 for a single cylinder.
And
And it'll be a week or so away because they're closed. Closed until who knows when? Tuesday, that's not Monday.
Monday.
Thursday, I don't know what fucking day it is.
It's Friday. Not that that matters.
Nope.
Okay, there. There. And
Yeah,
there.
we had a tech seminar with Lake Speed from Total Seal. I don't know
Yep.
if you know Lake is. Lake used to run NASCAR.
Okay.
Real good guy. Super funny guy. You know, real knowledgeable. And he's also big in the oil stuff with driven and whatnot.
Yeah.
They have a lot of great videos online with honing and stuff. And,
Right.
and Bob, was it Bob? Was it Bob? Older black fellow. Super guy. Like, wow. You know, he's forgotten more than I know, and I've been doing engines for a while. You know.
Okay, I'm not having very much fucking
Yeah,
luck
you
here.
gotta get more tension on it before you try to assemble it. When you
Okay.
try to put it on there,
Yeah.
you need to get a little bit more on it. Don't be afraid, right?
Yeah.
The ring will be happy to do that more than twist. So get a little bit more on it so
Yeah.
you can slide it over. Like I said, hook it into the backside first.
Yeah.
Now I fucked it up. I'm gonna break my rule. Yeah. Because the way it's sat there now. I'll do this. You kids at home, don't do this. Right? Right, so,
Okay, so I'll do a little more tension now.
yeah, you gotta get a little bit more open. Get it
Okay.
open enough so you can slide it easily over the pistons itself. That one was in a spot where it doesn't want to cooperate. So, rod bearings, some nice Cleveite HN series, because it is a stroker crank with a large radius. So they'll have those end bearings
Fuck
for
me.
those. Okay, relax, slow down. Like I said, it's kind of a trick thing. You get a feel for it. How many times have you done this?
Never?
Yeah, well, there you go. So don't get mad because you didn't nail it the first time. Nobody does. And anybody tells you they did is a fucking liar.
That one's caught up in the...
Cut up. Oh, in the accumulator group?
Yeah.
Okay, so there you go. There you
Oh,
go.
okay.
It fixed itself.
Good. Good.
Right? Yeah. HN bearings, 743s, because the 512 cubic inch big block Dodge actually uses a big block Chevy main, not a standard Dodge main like a CB527 bearing, right? So they use that to reduce the big end of the rod, so that you don't have clearance issues with these larger strokes, because these things are 4250 stroke. So if you're a Chevy guy, 4250 stroke is a 502. So, and so on and so forth, depending on bore. Because of course, a big block Chevy can bore the ever living shit out of it. So,
Fuck.
standard big block Chevys, I've seen them 100 over, right? So, there we go. There you go.
Okay, what's up?
Bloody meds. Smell it.
There we go. Fucking nailed it. For a change. That was easier.
So it's one of those things you'll get used to it. Got the bevel on that side, yep.
There we go. All right. Number 8. And we'll figure out where the... There.
If you're not sure where the expander is, just push the ring out and you'll see the gap in the expander.
Yep.
So we know it's on that side, right?
Yep.
So yeah, get that second lower ring down here. Yep, perfect. And the other one up.
Perfect. All right. We'll do some more updates in a bit.
We're not recording that, huh? Okay. Sorry.
Yeah, we're recording. It doesn't matter.
We'll go for Chinese food today.
Oh, sure.
Or even that's okay.
Good. I'm serious. Good.
Okay, so let's get our tapered ring compressor. Only way to go. Some guys will use the fire style or the old sleeve style where you're winding in. Those work just as well. You just got to make sure they're nice and square to the floor or to the deck surface. Put a little bit of assembly lube on there. Give it a quick smear. Get it around a little bit. That's all you need. More than adequate. Same thing on the cap itself. Nice little smear. Okay, here we go. So the rings are happy. Seems to have been handling it. Oh. I like to put a little roll-up oil on the squirts, some on the rings as well. I always use Joe Gibbs break-in 1030. You don't need anything more than that on them. And I've always done it that way. I've never ever had an issue whatsoever doing them that way. It seems to work out just well. Fine and dandy. Drop it in our ring compressor. Everything lined up. So, top ring on it. There we go. Slides right in. Drop it down the hole. Those big block dodges. I got that notch there for a reason. Outside, because the dad head down wants to get in the bloody way.
The apprentice hands the tools to him.
Yep. Just like that, it's in. Tapered ring compressors. Yeah, they're not cheap, but, you know, they're awesome. So there's that.
We'll go with that.
Darren's busy orientating the rods and pistons with the bevel that we talked about earlier. We did that yesterday with the 446 spec. We were sitting over there that we put together yesterday. So yeah, so now he's got some learning, and we're gonna go with that.
We're gonna go with that.
Those out of the way. Push them over. There you go. Big shout out to Johnny Cleveland. He's my machinist, has been for years. He's been doing stuff for Darren for a long time as well. Awesome guy. He's very particular. He does things the right way the first time. Everything's checked and rechecked, and because if it's not perfect, he can't sleep at night, that guy, which isn't a bad thing. There's our bevel. We're going to put that towards the radius side of the rod. Take our little zip gun here to run the bolts in. Not torquing them by any means. We're just running them in to be efficient with our time. Back over again. We'll torque them all after the fact, all at once. We'll do it in 2 steps. Typically, these rod bolts here, 7/16 ARP. These are 8720. They're not ARP 9000s or anything fancy like that. Nothing, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. Darren's applying some ARP lube to the threads. They already previously been lubed. Johnny did that for us when, Johnny did us a big favor by mounting the rods on the pistons for us already. He's pretty good that way. Darren's got my next one loaded up and ready to go. You know, might have to keep them on here. Yeah.
I'm around here somewhere.
You're there.
Down there.
You're here, you're there, you're everywhere. Okay, our rings all orientated the right way. We always verify that before we get ahead of ourselves. Oh, drop the oil.
It's always good to drop the oil.
Oh yeah, something to slip on, fall on my ass. Not bad enough I dropped a Dodge cast iron water pump housing on my foot the other day. I got 2 toes that are purple, so that's nice.
Just lucky.
Yeah, just lucky, that's it. A little bit on the oil on there. Some people might say, oh, that's a lot of oil. Yeah, better more than not enough, right? Because otherwise, you know, things could go badly. You know, me and Darren were talking about this yesterday. If this was an alcohol motor, we'd actually be using ATF on the rings. Because it's gasoline, we just use the engine oil, some potentially braking oil, right? It's always worked well for me. And what I'm doing here is I'm orientating, I cut a little notch in here because the head dowel is in the way. And I don't know if you ever tried to get a head dowel with a big block Dodge. It could be a joy. They're in there, you know. At the shop I used to work at, we had dowel pullers, like slide hammer little dowel pullers, which were super handy. That's my rod bearing. In my cap, I should say. Okay. Put one there. Let's drive this sucker home. Mind one day getting some of those fancy guides. You screw them in there like a rod bolt, and they're big long aluminum guides.
Yeah.
They're nice, but you know.
As long as you're careful, all right?
Yeah, well. Because the bolt, we put a little cap on it to, you know, guide it in over the bolt so that we have no chance. Pass me the camera, please. I left it over there. You know, that we can help guide it in. Guide it in. Make sure nothing. Obviously, you don't want to pound the cap into the crank. Because then you're going to put a nick in the crank, and that's going to end badly. So let's not do that. We don't. Everything's been wiped down and cleaned and re-cleaned.
A few times yesterday.
Yeah, a few times yesterday. We had to do a little additional clearancing in the block because it's got some Mallory metal in the journals, or in the counterweights, I should say. Reason being because it had a very lightweight piston in it before, and we changed the weight of the piston, which added to the bob weight. And this thing had already been previously balanced for the other combination, so we had to correct for that, per se. Handy dandy crank socket. You can do it with a bolt if you don't have one. You can even use a big adjustable wrench if you want as well. They work great. You just kind of lock it up against the keyway, and there you go. There you go. Get the, what I'm doing there is getting that throw of the crank facing right straight down, so we can put the rod in without any fear of coming anywhere near that. So we got that one. You go. All right. I don't even have to check your work here.
Right.
I do, but I don't have to because you're doing a good job. Got these things.
I'm just locking out, that's all it is. Just lucky.
You're a good student. First, I know it's the first time you ever heard that, but
110% there.
some oil in there, move around a bit, wiggle swiggle on the skirt. There you go, everything's happy. You know, we make it look easy. We've done it a few times. I definitely have. Darren is getting experienced in it. Yeah.
No,
Now that he's a big time racer,
you bet.
fucking magazine covers and everything. Huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was pretty cool, I bet, eh?
That was mayhem.
Yeah. That was a pretty cool thing, right?
Yeah.
Like I said, first time I was in a magazine, you know, written up on an article on anything, I was like, oh yeah, that's cool. Kind of gives you a little bit of a pat on the back, which we can all use every now and then.
Yeah.
There you go. Okay, you got that. Get it the right way. Slap her in. Make this look easy. What you didn't see is the hours of file fitting rings.
Yeah.
I showed you a little bit of it, but not a lot. That was, you know, how long did you spend on that there?
No.
Yeah, 3 hours of filing rings. You know, but you want to get that right. You want to get these gaps right. You want to get so many chances at it. By so many, I mean one.
Oh, that's just me.
No, hang on. No, that's right. Is that what I mean?
That's your set.
Yeah, yeah. No, no, got it right. You're fucking making me second guess myself. Because you second guess yourself.
Yeah, yeah, that's it. Oh.
Verify.
Better be check and double check then.
Find out the hard way that you fucked up.
Yep.
That there. There. And always recommend Joe Gibbs oil. It's awesome stuff. There's other things out there, but I like Joe Gibbs. You know, especially for anything with a flat tappet. This does have a flat tappet. It is a fairly large Lunati solid lifter cam in this engine, which is awesome. Nothing wrong with it. We do utilize an EDM lifter in here. I don't know if you know what those are. Those have a little laser cut hole right in through the lifter, and it applies oil directly to the face of the lifter. So it is awesome. Keeps that lifter happy. This cam's been in 2 motors because the other block cracked on the outside. I've been in this motor, so we've used this cam 2.
Another overheating issue.
Yeah, didn't turn on the fucking fan. Right?
Yeah,
That's why the fan's on a thermal switch now, because then Darren doesn't have to remember to put the toggle switch on. Which is working out for all of us. Yeah, so this cam's basically, with this one, it's third time around, same cam, same lifters, don't have to change nothing. Grab the socket for me, and the breaker wire, and we're gonna go that way.
That way.
First, it's too busy yapping.
Okay.
Yep. Right. Too close.
A little more.
Yep, that's it.
Okay.
What do you think? That's just right. Move that a little bit. Go. Kind of. Too busy yapping. Jeez. I'm not used to it. Doing your YouTube stuff.
Ah. We'll be alright. Okay, we'll be alright.
Yeah. Gotta have myself put that 5 in before I got to number 4. So number 4. That's the right one. Well, after we're done this, we'll take a little break and have some lunch.
It'll be a short block though.
What's that?
I say it'll be a short block at that point.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and then we'll be installing the heads and the valve train, Trick Flow 270 heads. We bought the top end kit with the intake and everything else. Comes with the Harley Sharp rockers. We're not going to use those. We're going to use his Comp Ultra Pro Magnum rockers that he's had on this engine for a while.
Yeah.
They are fantastic rockers, super durable, last forever. They're nice.
But more importantly for me, is that they use a, another breaker bar, and I'll take the hammer as well, because I moved the crank, so we need to rotate it.
Which way? Doesn't matter.
I'll tell you what. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Go, 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 go. There. Good.
Go, 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 go. Stop.
You take it, I got it. A lot easier doing it that way, and you come out the other way.
Yeah.
Seems a lot heavier going the other direction.
Well balanced.
Yeah. Big block guys. Nothing light about them. Nothing light about them at all. Very loose. Very just slightly shift it in the cap. That's all it takes to set it back in place before you put the rod cap on. We will be checking the rod side clearance. This engine's been together before with this combination of rods and pistons, and everything's been happy, so there's absolutely no reason why it won't be again. Okay, get in. Put some fur on there, bud. There we go. Oh, yeah.
Little guy.
Looks great for just running the bolts in. Get on that.
Want to crank it over?
Yeah, roll it back over again. We are on number 6. Good to go.
There we go.
You know, Dodges like a small block, big block Dodges are like other engines, like a small block Chevy, where there's an orientation with the pistons, you know, because it's exhaust, intake, intake, exhaust, you know, blah, 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 kind of thing. So,
Train of thought.
no, yeah. No, let's take a break for a second.
Yeah.
That,
There we go.
as you get older, you know, those piss breaks come more often. Especially when you have prostate cancer. You're no longer in charge. Now we'll just double check that. Make sure everything's happy. Get in there. Thank you. Get in there. Just like so. Hide a hole. Double checking that. Looks good. Up in the hole. Trying to get me the CNC hammer. Go. Just move the hitch like that. All good. Cap. Hit right in. Lock that up around. Here we are. Last couple. Then we'll take a break and we'll get some lunch. We're not sponsored by anybody. We're not sponsored by Factor or anything else like that. Some of these guys are. All right. Where are we at? Okay. Oh, what's outside? That should be this one, correct? Yep. Right, so
Oh, yeah.
intake, exhaust.
Yeah.
Right, we know that's good. That's orientated correctly. Just one last, always, just before we put them in the compressor, always double check, verify your rings are orientated. Your rings spin. I don't know if everybody knows that, but your rings are constantly spinning in the motor. Because if they weren't, then you'd have some big trouble on your hands. Things would go very badly in a hurry. You start burning oil, you know. Yeah, your rings are constantly spinning, so. It's happy, everything moves nicely. Spread around on the skirt a little bit. Not bad skirt design, you know, not too large, not too heavy, but enough contact surface. Some of the new stuff is very profiled, 3D or whatever the heck they want to call it, which is nice because, you know, these rotating assemblies are very light nowadays, you know, so. Yeah, I didn't orientate my thing for the dowel. Bastard. Okay. That's my fault.
Over?
Yeah.
Go the other way? Okay.
Come over here, buddy. Come on, take a little tap. Okay. Yeah, like I said, I fucked up there. I didn't put that little groove on where the dowel is. So that's me. That's my fault. Stupid idiot. Should have blamed the apprentice though.
Shoulda.
Should have pointed that out. He should have caught it.
No, shoulda. Shoulda, woulda, coulda.
A lot of times I don't wear gloves, but there's so much oil it can stand on your hands because you can't get in the way, get pinched in when you're trying to feed it in there. Here, we're gonna put that thing in the right spot this time.
There we go. Just a little more. It's a lot easier to spin something on there when your gloves are greasy.
Oh yeah, slimy as hell. And you flat tap it, cam guys, in your hot rods and muscle cars. You don't have to be a race car or anything else. You got a flat tap it, you should be running Joe Gibbs oil. The Hot Rod Series oil, they sell that back in other places, of course. That is the way to go. It's perfect for flat tapping style, old school type engine builds. And you always decide, curtail the weight of your oil based on the clearances and that. And sometimes you won't know. You won't know until you know, right? So I typically tell people to start off at the 1040 and see where your oil pressure's at. And if it's high or whatever, put some 1030. If it's a little low, go up to the 1540, right? So, because you don't know 100% what the machine shop is, what clearance is at. Clearances for any engine, don't matter if it's Chevy, Ford, Dodge, Pontiac, Oldsmobile, AMC, whatever it is that you always have 1 inch of clearance for every inch of journal diameter. So,
Does that bearing look okay?
yep, that's good.
All right.
One more. Right on.
That's number 8.
Down, one go, one down.
You're not close enough there.
No, oh.
All right.
You're gonna do a 2-part video or 1-part video for this?
Oh, I'll probably do 2 parts.
Yeah. More content.
Yep.
Now that I'm up in the interior, I live in Salmon now, I'm no longer in Langley Chilliwack area there. I left
You got that orientated?
Huh? Oh, yeah. Good thing, good catch there.
That
Hey,
was
this
this guy.
fucking apprentice is coming along.
I don't want to get yelled at again.
Yeah. Right, so now that I moved up here, I still use Johnny Cleveland down there in Aldergrove, Abbotsford area. Just because he's awesome. Johnny's beyond a perfectionist to the extreme sometimes, but that's good when you're doing engine stuff and stuff. You want to have somebody that's precise, shall we say, and that's him. Now that I'm up here, I use K&S, Keith there, because he's close by. If I need a block mainlined or this or that or something, I'll go to Keith. Keith's a great guy, does fantastic work. Everybody knows him. He's been around a long time, and whatnot. We have a local shop here in Salmon Arm as well. AGC Engines. Wayne, hang on. Wayne is a great guy. I get him to do certain stuff for me and whatnot. They're not really a performance shop. That's where I was working when I come up here. They do a lot of industrial diesel stuff, but they do automotive too. With being in the shoe swap, we did I don't know how many small block Chevy Marines a year. A ton, right? But yeah, we did a lot of big diesel stuff too. 15 liters, C15s, ISXs, blah 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 blah. Here you can see that's where the heavy metal went in the crank. There's one in this throw and one in this throw. And because you pre-sub everything, you know, when you're doing your assembly, we found that there was a clearance issue. The reason that there's white paint on here is that exact reason. That a little interference because the weld stuck up with the block here and in the back here as well. We clearanced it accordingly, thoroughly cleaned everything obviously before we assembled it, checked it again to make sure everything was happy. The crank spun nicely, no issues, no problems. There you go, here we are. The bottom ends getting there. We're gonna torque the rods, and from there, I guess we'll start putting the girdle on it.
Yep.
It does have a main girdle to help stabilize it because of the stroke and the RPM. This is 7/100 rod, a very long rod. You get a big block Chevy, everybody loves, 6/125 rod in a big block Chevy. A stock 440 uses 7/670 rod. Pretty long rod. For all you small block Dodge guys, they use a 6/23 rod. So basically, a 273, 318, 340, 360 have the same connecting rod as a big block Chevy in them. So just think about that for a second, right? So that long rod, these are 7/100ths because of the stroke. That long rod gives you more torque. That was a circle track thing for guys with small block Chevys. We put a 6-inch rod in it because it had more torque coming off the corner. It'd pull harder and get that thing going pulling hard off the corner. LS's have a 6/125 rod in them. So there you go. That's why LS motors are good, other than the head sealing part of things. But other than that, and then everybody else got their own things, right? I did a Pontiac stroker for a guy last year, and he's a 6/800 rod in them. So, but anyways, we will cut it off here, I think.
Yep.
We're gonna go have some lunch. Gonna come back and torque all the rods and make sure everything's happy. We're gonna check them for bolt stretch, of course. Where the hell did I put my tool? I put it away again. You know, always put things away. Take it out, put it away. But anyways, we'll check for the proper bolt stretch on the rods. Even though those rods have been used again, these are a used rod bolt. We're still gonna verify that they're okay. We examine them, they look good and whatnot. Otherwise, we would have replaced them. So there you go. Anyways, that'll be it for now.
All right.
And cut.
Attaboy.